everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome to day 3. How you guys feeling? You guys starting to notice some different awarenesses in your body happening and your mindset happening? How great was yesterday? Did you guys do some work, go home and play with the breath support tools that we did yesterday? Yeah? Who got some good reps in with their hissing and their lip trills? Tell me in the chat. Who got some good reps in playing with the hisses, playing with the lip trills? Celebrate that you did your practice. Yes, Kat did it, Javon did it, Bailey did it. Celebrating you for being accountable. Nice. Now, if you guys have questions about that stuff, we have a whole Q&A that's going to happen on the last day. So definitely, like, anything that you're wondering that we didn't get to, bring it to the Q&A for sure, for sure. Who did their meditation today? Tell me in the chat. Who did it? Celebrate yourself. Yes, me, Juliana, Sol, Jerry, Javon. Good. Guys, stay with it, okay? Like, these are the things that require repetition. They require conditioning, just like anything else. And even if the meditation feels, let's say you fall asleep, that's okay. If you're new at it, like, the fact there's no wrong way to do the meditation. The only wrong way to do it is not to do it. So stay with it. It's really important not to forget to do it daily, because that daily conditioning of the present moment is super important. So keep doing it each day this week. Okay, we have a lot to get to today. So a reminder of our housekeeping: save your questions, train first. If we have time to answer questions at the end, we will. Otherwise, like I said, we have an entire Q&A day on the last day, which is next Monday. So we will definitely get to your questions. So train first, answer questions after. A reminder, this is the safe space. So those who share and sing, we encourage bravery, we encourage vulnerability. And again, I have zero tolerance policy for any judgment, meanness, criticism in the chat. Uphold the value of this being a safe space, please. If you want to get up and coach during the session and be a guinea pig, make sure that your original sound is turned to on. That doesn't just mean that you set the settings by following the directions that my assistant sent earlier in the week, but it also means that in the Zoom meeting, if you are on a laptop, a desktop, you can see at the top of the Zoom screen, it says original sound for musicians. It needs to be switched from off to on. Okay. All right. And I see that we have Coach Annie in the house today. Whoop, whoop, hello. So Coach Annie, she's one of the expert technique coaches who works alongside me with our singers in the intensive training program. Hey, Annie. I think you're muted. You're just muted. You can't figure it out? Here.
Sorry, you can now, Annie.
There.
Oh, thank you. That's okay.
Welcome. So you guys, this is Coach Annie. She's one of the amazing coaches who works alongside me with our singers in the intensive training program. She's also an incredible, amazing professional singer in her own right. She's performed lead roles in Broadway. She did how many 100 and something performances of Fiona in Shrek the Musical all over the world in the Equity Tour. She's performed at Radio City Music Hall. Like, you name it, this girl has done it. And I have the pleasure of having her be on my coaching team. And so, of course, I invited her here today. And so we're going to hear from Annie a little bit later when we coach on some of the stuff that we're going to do today. So happy to have you here.
Thank you, Arden. Good to be here with everybody.
All right. So let's get to work, guys. We got a lot to get to today. Okay. So most of you are putting yourselves out there for auditions, performances, recordings, and you're making an innocent mistake. You don't realize that you lack the rocket fuel to actually stand out from the competition at the level you need to consistently and deliver that when it counts, no matter what, which also affects your confidence. And this is why you're not breaking through to those opportunities you really want yet. And that rocket fuel, that ammunition, as it were, it begins and ends with one idea: energetic sound direction. Energetic sound direction. So the way we direct our energy to get maximum power, efficiency, and impact out of our instrument. And how we do this is by using opposition. So yesterday, we did a whole lot of breath support training, and you got your, what we call your anchor, okay? The breath support that anchors the sound in the lower part of your body. And so today, I'm going to give you what we call your sail, because you need both. You need your anchor and you need your sail. And once you have that, you're going to be able to use energetic sound direction in the form of opposition. So I want you to think of a boat for a second, a sailboat, okay? So if you're in a sailboat and you're in choppy water, you've got your anchor anchoring down into the sand, and you've got your sail facing up into the wind, and boom, that boat is not going anywhere. It is super stable, okay? And it's the same in your body. So the energy of your support, that's your anchor. All this that we talked about yesterday, that's your anchor. And today, we're going to talk about the shape and the space of your resonance. That's your sail. And those two things need to oppose each other energetically in the very same way that the anchor and the sail on a boat oppose each other to create absolute stability. So it's that stability that allows you to consistently tap into the maximum potential of your instrument to bring your best sound every single time. So that's concept number 1 for today. If you're following along in your Masterclass workbook, concept number 1 for today is opposition is what creates absolute stability, consistency, and power for your biggest impact. You need your anchor and you need your sail. And for those of you who want stronger high notes, mixing, high belt, whatever, this is essential, because right now you only have the anchor. We did that yesterday in the breath support, but you need the sail. So let's talk about the sail, okay? So the sail refers to the shape and the space of your resonance. So sound resonates in your body in 3 places. It resonates in your head cavity, so between your skull and your brain, in your sinuses, like between your sinuses, and that's in your head cavity. Okay, sound bounces around in the space between your head and your skull and your brain and your sinuses. It also resonates in your chest cavity here, and it resonates in your, what we call your buccal cavity inside your mouth. Now, the shape of a space determines its resonance. So if you think about a super squat room, for example, it's pretty dead sound, not a lot of resonance. A dome, if you think of the Sistine Chapel, a dome, you're going to get a lot of resonance because that shape of that space determines how the sound bounces around in it. And it is the same with your body, okay? Now, you can't change the shape of your head, can't change the shape of your chest cavity, right? But you can affect the shape of your buccal cavity, your inside your mouth cavity, with what happens with your soft palate, your jaw, and your tongue, okay? And the major thing of those 3 things that affects the shape and space of our resonance is really our soft palate, okay? That's your sail. So just want to make sure you guys understand where your soft palate is, just to be clear. So hard palate, the hard part, you can feel that hard part. You can wring your tongue around the hard part. And if you keep going backwards, that's your soft palate back there. Like if your soft palate, like if you yawn, your soft palate stretches, or like right before you sneeze where you're like, right, you can kind of feel your soft palate. Or if you have like allergies and your throat is really itchy and you're like, you feel the itchiness, that's your soft palate there, okay? And so it's really, first of all, important to understand where your soft palate is, because you can affect the shape of your soft palate, okay? And so we want an expansive, big old soft palate, like a big old sail, okay, providing lots of space for the sound to bounce around and resonate in. But it's not just any space. It's the shape of the space that matters also. And I see somebody asking about dentures. Doesn't matter. Dentures are up in front. Soft palate is behind it, okay? So it's not just the space that we're creating in the soft palate that matters, but the shape of the space that matters too. So here's how you find the most optimum shape and space in your soft palate for resonance that we want when we sing. So one of the things that I like to teach our singers in our intensive training program is what I call the smell the brownies feeling. So if I put a plate of hot, fresh, gooey, yummy brownies straight out the oven, like right in front of your nose, and I said, these smell so good, smell these brownies, and you go, and like it smells really good. And so you breathe in and it makes you smile because it smells so good. So imagine you're smelling really good, yummy tasting brownies and you go, and you nose breath right now into a smile. As you do that, guys, do you feel your soft palate stretch? See if you can notice that. Smell the brownies and see if you can feel that soft palate stretch up there. Another way of feeling it, and I'm just giving you a lot of different ways to feel it. Some of you may find one way that works better for you than the other, is a feeling of, as you breathe in, feeling your ears widening away from each other. So breathing into the space between your ears. I also feel my soft palate stretch. Another way of finding it and feeling it is when you yawn, it's the top part of a yawn. So when we yawn, we actually do two things. We stretch the soft palate, but we also depress the larynx. Like, you know that yawn feeling, okay? So when we sing, we don't want to depress the larynx, but that soft palate stretch of when we yawn is exactly the same. So that's another way of feeling it. Something that also I like to tell singers is feeling like your top molars are riding up into your brain and you can feel that stretch. So there's a lot of different ways to play with it and to find it. But what we want to understand is that the stretch in the soft palate is up on a diagonal and the space you feel is up here. Because a lot of singers, they think they have space because they feel space, but the space is in the wrong place. And what they're doing, instead of pulling their soft palate up like smelling the brownies, they're leaving their soft palate where it is, and they're pushing their larynx down and they're pushing their tongue down. So they feel like they have space, and they do, but it's all down here, and that's not where we want it. That's too much pressure on the larynx. So we want the space to be up here, okay? So one of the things I love to show you guys is if you take a still picture, like a photograph, of any singer who knows what they are doing, doesn't matter, opera singer, pop singer, doesn't matter, and you take a still photo of them, like mid big note, they all look like this. They all look like that, okay? It's really funny, but I want to show you this. I'm going to share my screen for a second because legit, check this out. Okay. You guys, look at this, okay? This is Beyonce, Pavarotti, Bruno Mars, Sutton Foster, Broadway singer, pop singer, Anna Netrebko, opera singer, Leslie Odom Jr., won Tonys for Hamilton. Every single one of them. Look at that. They're up in that feeling of that high between the ears smile. They all look like this. Okay? There is a reason for that. Okay? Wait, I just lost my screen. Hang on a second. Ah, where'd you guys go? Sorry, hold on. Come back. I had too many tabs open. Okay, there we go. So they all look like this feeling. This is what the external physiology looks like. It looks like that kind of dumb smile, like what I call the clueless smile. It's like, duh. You guys remember that movie from the 90s? Oh my God, Cher. Duh. It's like, okay? That's what the external physiology looks like when the internal physiology of your soft palate is nice and high and stretched and tilted. So right now, while it's new, the easiest way to feel that stretch in the soft palate is to use that first thing that I was showing you, which is a nose breath into a smile. Smell the brownies. And you can feel your soft palate stretch as you do that when you breathe into a smile. But then you have to keep that stretch of that soft palate over the duration of the phrase while you're singing and not let it fall down, okay? So it's almost like the image sometimes that I have is, so I find my big soft palate on my breath, on the inhale, and then as I phonate, I imagine like fish hooks, like pulling, and not letting this thing fall down so that I'm like, And this just continues to feel like it pulls and expands no matter that the pitch is changing. So that's your sail. And it is always up when you sing. And so that brings me to the next concept. Concept number 2 for today, which is always be moving your anchor, that's your support, and your sail, that's your soft palate, away from each other over the course of the phrase. So this is the first way that you are going to employ our energetic direction technique of opposition, okay, which is anchor and sail moving away from each other. Why does this opposition matter? Because if anchor and sail are moving towards each other, here's what happens. So you got, you're in the phrase and you're kind of doing okay. Anchor and sail are moving towards each other and larynx feels really free because nothing is encumbering it from below or from above. Meaning, if your anchor, like we were talking about yesterday, if you're not flexing, if you're contracting, then it pushes the diaphragm up, which pushes too much air, which is too much subglottal pressure, and everything starts to move up, and the larynx starts to become encumbered from below. Same thing happens if your soft palate is not super high and stretched. Soft palate tends to move down. This puts pressure on larynx. And so now you've got this moving up towards your larynx this way, this moving down towards your larynx that way, and it's too much pressure. It's strain. It doesn't feel good. The pitch is going to be affected, but more than anything, what's going to happen is you now start to feel insecure because it doesn't feel as good and it doesn't sound as good. And now we're in that negative feedback loop of fear and tension that we talked about on the first day. Okay, so we always want to be moving anchor and sail away from each other to free the larynx. You guys, when anchor and sail are opposing each other, your larynx and your vocal cords are free to vibrate in the most efficient way possible because the subglottal pressure and the supraglottal pressure are efficient and they're in their maximum efficiency, okay? So we want to move everything away from the midline here. And that opposition creates ultimate stability that frees the larynx to vibrate optimally and freely for the best possible sound and the biggest possible impact. And remember what we talked about on the first day. Impact is the thing that gets you, that's your only job as a singer, is to make an impact on your audience, okay? So if you have problems with reliability, consistency, confidence, if you have problems accessing high notes, if you have pitch intonation issues, problems changing registers from head to chest and back, problems mixing, it is because you are not opposing, period. So your anchor and your sail are likely moving towards each other, putting pressure on your larynx instead of opposing each other, moving away from each other, allowing your larynx to vibrate freely and efficiently up and down through your whole range and through all your registers. And so one of the best ways to practice opposition is by doing what I call sirening. So we practice opposing our anchor and your sail using a siren, and a siren is like what it sounds like. Woo, woo, woo! Ah! Like an actual siren, okay? But in order to do this efficiently, you need to set your intention of flexing gently through your support and smelling the brownies, pulling up through your smelling the brownies as you siren, moving these things away from each other. Ah! Or woo! Doesn't matter that I'm changing pitches, doesn't matter that I'm going up or that I'm going down. That opposition of anchor of support moving down and soft palate stretching up continues and does not change. And so in this way, we are setting the energetic direction of the sound to be an implosion rather than an explosion, okay? So we want to implode the siren. We're pulling away and we're creating this space for the sound and the energy to come in instead of what most of you do is you feel like you need to get the sound out. I don't know if I was talking to Finn about this yesterday or Dravon, one of you, I was talking about it yesterday, the idea of not needing to push the sound out, because when you do, if you feel like you need to explode the sound, what's going to happen to your anchor and your sail? You're going to go whack like that. And now the energetic direction of the sound is inefficient because it's causing your body to do something that's pushing you and contracting you, rather than if we're in our anchor in our sail, now we have all this room for the vibration and the sound to come in and to live in. So implode the siren, bring the sound to you. It is not your job to get the sound out. If you tell yourself, I have to reach that note, oh, you're going to reach and you're going to go, instead of let the sound in. Remember, we talked about let the breath come in. It's the same thing. Words matter because they direct your energy, and your energy directs your sound. So tell yourself to implode the siren. Yeah! Instead of explode the siren. So you're going to play with some sirens over the next couple days and being very present to anchor and sail as you do it. And you can siren in the lower part of your voice too. It doesn't have to be high or head voice. It could be yeah. Same thing, okay? So now we're going to take this idea of the siren opposing anchor and sail as we move through pitch, and we're going to bridge the siren to the Mamo Mu scale. So you have the Mamo Mu scale from yesterday. It's what we were doing yesterday. It was one of your MP3s. That was the, we're doing here, Mamo Mu scale, okay? But really, guys, it's just a siren. Mamo Mu is no different than Mamo Mu. Ah, that feeling of sliding and connecting between the pitches, sliding and connecting into your opposition. So I start my opposition before I phonate, meaning, we talked about this yesterday, right? I am going to support before I phonate, and I am going to breathe into the space between my ears before I phonate. So I am already feeling stable and set in that opposition before I have even started the M for the ma. And then I'm just going to continue to move through my anchor and my sail as I do it. Ma! If I can do that and stay connected, Mamo Mu is the same thing. So you're going to practice bridging from a siren to a Mamo Mu, not changing how you use your body. Because see, this is what most of you want to do. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, but most of you want to move your opposition in jolts with the pitch, ma, and then we get H's, because we're not consistent, okay? So when you siren, ma, you have that consistency. Siren through your Mamo Mus. Do not tell yourself to sing. If you tell yourself to sing, you will go back to the old habit and you'll have okay? So siren through your Mamo Mu, siren through your opposition. Mamo Mu. Did you guys see my sail? Ma, right? One like key giveaway that you're not in your sail is if you look at yourself in the mirror and you see this. Ma. Do you guys hear the difference in my sound? Do you hear how dull that is? Ma. It's the same pitch. But in one, I'm high in my sail, and in the other, I'm not. Okay, so we're going to siren first, then we're going to bring the feeling of the siren to, and the opposition to the Mamo Mu, because we're just thinking of it as a siren. And then that brings us to concept number 3 today, which is do not change your anchor and your sail when you change pitch. You are always opposing anchor and sail no matter what. If the pitch is changing, doesn't matter. What direction the pitch is going, if the words are changing, doesn't matter, okay? This is how you build reliability and consistency. It's not reliable or consistent if it changes every time you change pitch, okay? So the siren really helps us to kind of feel the through line of things, and then we just bring that to the exercise. So those who coach with me in my intensive training program I'm famous for saying, no singing aloud. Siren, no singing aloud. Because when you guys think sing, you go back to your old habits. But siren puts you in your new habit. So even though you might be doing Mamo Mu, you're still not going to think sing. you're still going to think siren because that's going to put you in the consistency of your opposition. Okay. All right. Who has got an audition song or something that you gig with all the time that you want to volunteer to be a guinea pig and work on some of this opposition and see how this is fitting into your own body? And go ahead and use the raise hand function for those who want to be coached. And I did see that there were some of you yesterday who thought that you wanted to be coached, and I don't know if you knew where the raise hand function is. So just so you know, it's the little heart icon. If you click it, you see like raise hand. Okay, so I'm going to coach a little, and then Annie's going to coach a little, and you guys are going to get some great mojo. So I see Kaylee, first hand I saw. So Kaylee, go ahead and unmute. Hi.
Okay, hi. Hi.
All right. So do you have like a couple bars of something or a chorus or something?
Yeah. Think of Me from Phantom of the Opera. It's one of my go-tos, has been forever.
Good. Love it. Let's coach on it. So do you want to start at the beginning, or do you want to start somewhere? Is there a section that gives you trouble?
Um, I'd say the end. I can hit the high note. I just depending on the day, depends on how strained I feel. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Um,
But that's
so
telling, right? What does that tell you? What is
yeah,
that data of?
it tells me whether or not I'm tense. That some days I'm tenser than others, and I'm not using it properly.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
was
So
always taught just to open your jaw, like open your mouth really wide.
yeah, but guess what? This is not your mouth. This is your mouth. This is your
I
mouth.
was never taught that.
Yeah, that's okay. And guess what, you guys? Not all voice teachers are created equal. Just saying. Anyone can call themselves an expert vocal coach. Anyone. So here's the thing. What they wanted out of you, they just did not know how to coach you into. They
Hmm.
wanted more sale, but they didn't know how to explain that. And so they just told you to open your mouth. And so what did you do? And not just you, like this is very common. You went for your jaw and you probably, like you were saying, got really tense, shoving your jaw down, right? But guys, do you remember the picture? Uh-huh. But if I shove my jaw down, what happens to my smell the brownie space?
Yeah.
Okay, I lose it. Okay, so here's also what happens, which is your jaw muscles, so your TMJ muscles, your mandibular muscles, all those muscles that your hinge of your jaw is like right here, right? All
Hmm.
those muscles around it are inside, and outside. They connect internally to your soft palate. So if
Which
your
I have
jaw,
TMJ, so I
yeah,
get
but if that's
sometimes,
what
and
you've been.
sometimes when I sing for too long, my jaw hurts really bad.
Yeah, because you're doing exactly what I've been saying.
Yeah.
And that's okay. There's no make wrong here, Kaylee. Like
Okay.
it's data. It's data.
Right.
That's okay. And so what's been happening is that all of this overworking of the jaw, number one, has been causing you some soreness in your jaw, locking in your jaw. Number two, it's been pulling your soft palate down because
Hmm.
all these muscles, when this jaw goes like this, it pulls everything down internally because it's connected internally. Okay. So don't worry about your jaw right now. Okay.
Okay.
I want you to play with what's above it. All right.
Yeah.
So before we even do think of me, let's just do some sirening. Okay. So
Okay.
I want you to breathe into the smell the brownies, space, that picture that you saw of all those singers. Find that gentle breathe into a smile. Okay. Nose breath into a smile. Yeah. Close your mouth and just nose breath. Yes. 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 And you have great cheekbones, Kaylee. Use them. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Do you feel your soft palate stretch, or what do you feel when you do that?
I feel my soft palate stretch, and I feel my mouth stretch, obviously too. But yeah, I definitely feel my soft palate stretching.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, like the external that you see in the like smile of it all, right? It's not really about my mouth smiling. It's actually about what happens inside when you do that. And for teaching this sale, it's just the easiest way for somebody who's new to it to feel that, to find that dumb kind of smile.
Hmm.
But just so you know, like once you get that feeling internally, you don't need to like I don't need to be like I'm smiling all the time when I sing. I don't need to be like I can be like I think of like a sad, if I'm singing like a sad aria or something, like, I'm not smiling, but do you see me? I am right here. It's so eventually you train your soft palate to do this without having to actually be like cheese. Okay, but
Right.
for now, I want you to smell the brownies. And then I just want you to siren on a maw. And as you open into the maw, continue to pull like your fangs and your molars are riding up into your brain. Ma!
Okay. Ma!
Good.
Ma!
Yes. Do you feel how easy it is to get up there when you do this?
Yeah.
And do you feel how open it is? Inside.
Yes, it feels.
Yeah.
I feel like I have more room.
Because you do. Because
I
you've
feel like
created
it
it.
could go higher than high.
Yes, exactly. Because you've created that space because you're not focusing on your jaw trying to open. It has nothing to do with that. Let your jaw be soft like you just did and just focus on this, okay? So now so where do you want to start with the phantom? Where do you want to
Um,
start?
can we do the like the two bars at the end with the it'll start like whatever else you um whatever. Oh God, now I'm brain fart. Now that I'm on the spot, I'm brain farting.
Think
um,
of the all the time. Think of the things we'll never do.
and say,
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da.
whatever else you choose to do, if
Okay,
you
okay.
ever find, yeah.
Let's do it from there. Whatever. I wish we had. Yes. I was gonna say I wish we had the key. Annie, do you have the sheet music for this? Do you know what the key is?
Oh,
I don't know. If you have it, you can just unmute. Otherwise, Kylie, I just want you to siren whatever else you choose to do. Just siren it.
okay. Whatever else you choose to do.
Okay, your sail is working great, but right now your anchor is not opposing it. Your anchor right now is
Okay.
going up in the same direction as the sail, which is why it's a little bit airy. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
Okay, so hands back on obliques. Yep. And you're going to move your anchor
Here,
away
I'm gonna
from your sail.
move this so that I can stand up a little bit further away. Okay.
Okay, so you're going to move your anchor away from your sail as you siren. Whatever else you choose to do.
Okay. Whatever else you choose to do.
Good. What did you notice about that? What did that feel like in your body?
I think I have a hard time doing two different things at once. Like I have a hard time, like as soon as I'm focusing on my sail, I forget my diaphragm. If I'm focusing on my diaphragm, I forget,
Yep. And guess what?
the
That's
multitasking.
it's completely normal. It's completely normal. Those of you who are in the Zoom room right now who have trained with me in the intensive program, can you like commiserate? It's super normal, Kaylee, that when you're learning opposition, that when you focus on one, the other goes to poop, and when you're focusing on the other, it's very, very common. So don't beat yourself up over that, okay? What I want you to do is I want you to use your hands, because remember we were talking yesterday about hands can direct, okay? I want you to
Mhm.
use your hands like this. So this hand is
Okay.
directing your support. This hand is directing your sail. And I want you to do like this. What? Just do what?
Okay. What?
Good job. That works.
What?
That really works for you.
Okay.
Do you notice that?
Yeah, yeah. Second one,
Okay.
I noticed I was tensing, coming in. What I'm brain
Contracting.
farting again, but contracting
Contracting.
again a little bit. But that first one felt good.
Yeah. Okay. And so if you've done it once, you can do it again and celebrating you for the awareness that you felt the old habit. You felt the
Mm-hmm.
contraction. Because you guys, you can't change something that you're not aware of. So you felt it. So now give yourself the intention of, remember we talked about what's the quarter that's going to get you the gumball. The quarter for you is like just hooking in to slow down, like slow your roll, don't force it, and just let yourself luxuriate in that sound of moving away from each other. So let's just do it on an ah. Ah!
Oh, oh,
Yes. Good. Yeah. Can I ask you, what kind of device are you on?
My phone.
Okay, so the original sound may or may not be possible here. That's fine. Don't worry about it. So now, I want you
Can you
to,
still hear me?
I can. It cuts out a little on the highest overtones because
That's okay.
that's what the original sound would help. But it's for now. I don't want to waste time
I would
messing
say
with.
I don't know how to switch to go into the settings on Zoom or anything.
That's okay. We
Sorry.
can try. So let's now what you're gonna do is you're gonna go into the melody with the lyric of that last phrase. Okay, but don't sing. Siren it. Don't worry
Okay.
about making it pretty. Whatever I forget the words, but like just literally the way you felt. Oh, is use your body the exact same way. Don't change how you're using your body just because now you have words or melody. Siren,
Okay.
no sing. Okay, try.
Here's your starting pitch.
What is it?
It's a G.
Okay.
Thank you.
Whatever you choose to
Okay, I liked that siren. Now. So it's really not that high, Annie. Whatever else you choose to do. Is it that low?
do. Yeah, it doesn't go up until like the very end.
So Annie, is
Yeah,
that
the
where we
highest
are?
pitch should be an F at the top of the staff.
Uh-huh.
Whatever else you choose to do.
Okay. Whatever else. So I want you to siren. Whatever else you choose to do. Just talk on pitch and siren through.
Whatever you choose to do.
Okay, good. Now I want you to be very exact about the melody now. We're going to go to the actual melody, but do not change your feeling of your
Okay.
high and your low. Okay? Try it.
Okay. Whatever you choose to do.
Okay. What did that feel like to you?
My sail felt great. My diaphragm, I ran, I ran out of breath a
Okay.
little bit. I
Okay.
didn't run out of breath, but I felt like I felt like my sport just like dropped off.
Oh, okay. And that's an important awareness, but you have a tool for that, right? And I'm also gonna invite you guys, because I'm sure Kylie's not the only one, not to focus on your diaphragm. Don't focus on your diaphragm because if you focus on your diaphragm, you're going to be focusing high up here. And I don't want you focusing high up here. I want you focusing on the muscles that affect your diaphragm, which is everything going on down here.
Okay.
Okay. So to go to the high note, whatever else you choose to do. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, I want to go to I will think of you. Siren, I will think of you. Find your up
You
and
want
your
me
down.
to actually hit the high note?
I just want
Or
you to
just
siren.
say,
I just want you to siren through.
okay. I will think of
Okay, how'd you feel in your sail? Scale of 1 to 10.
you. Like a 6 or a 7?
Okay, so what could you be willing to believe to go to 10, girl?
I gotta like smile more.
Okay, it could be
I
that
feel like
simple.
I look so dumb though.
Ah, okay. Take a step closer to your device, will ya? Really quick?
Yeah.
Come a little closer. Okay, so here's the thing, guys, which is if she's worried about looking dumb, I could give her the best technique in the world and it won't matter. And her brain won't let her body do it because she's scared of looking dumb and being judged. But what if I told you, Kylie, that, well, I said this earlier, I think. Oh no, I was coaching class. Sorry, guys. I've coached like 6 hours of classes today and I don't know who I've told what to. I was giving this to one of our intensive classes earlier, which is everything you want is just on the other side of your comfort zone. So, could you be willing to sit with the discomfort of feeling like you look a little ridiculous and know that actually you want to go to the ridiculous because that's going to get you what you want? So, can we play go to the ridiculous, Kaylee? Go to the ridiculous.
Okay.
Try.
Okay.
So,
better.
yeah. So, first of all, that was like actually a fifth higher than you need to be. So, if you can do it up there, you'll be fine where it's written. Okay.
But
Number
that's how I think
two.
it goes a little higher than that too, that last note. So I think I just from muscle memory, I was going
Okay.
for it.
But here's what I noticed, which is you started at like, I don't know, maybe a 7 on the scale of ridiculous. And then by the time you got up to the high note, I think something clicked in your brain, and then you were like, yeah, or you were up here, yeah, you were starting, yeah, and then you like really brought it up. What could you be willing to believe to go there right away? To go to full ridiculous, like right away.
I think I don't know. I think one, I thought I was at full ridiculous, and then I felt it in my mouth. I was like, oh, I'm not there yet. I can keep going.
Okay.
And
So what it is you don't realize how far that your body can go. So you
yeah,
have to be willing to believe, no, my body has way more to offer me. Let me go there.
yeah.
And it is safe to go there. It is safe to go there. Okay. So let's do it one more time. I will think of, or I don't even know where we're starting. Somewhere around here. I don't know. You sing the song more. So you just pick. It doesn't really matter as long as you stay connected and go to that
Yeah.
ridiculous place. Okay. Try it.
Okay. I will think
Uh-huh. Okay. So you're getting there on the I will think, but then we get a little flat because
of it. Yeah.
I will think of, that's a larger pitch jump. And what happens is we start, well, somebody's got to mute. There we go. What happens is you start in your opposition, and this is what happens. I will think, uh-oh. You literally go to uh-oh, and things go
Went
like
back.
this. And anchor and sail contract. I
Mhm.
will think, oh. Keep going, Kaylee. You're doing it
Okay.
right. I will think of hi. Try it.
I will think
Yeah, you're so close, girl. You get there by the
of you.
you.
But I know I'm not quite there.
Yeah, but that's normal because you're learning something new. You get there by the you. I will think, and you are in the center of the pitch. The of is not because it's the pitch jump. It's the larger interval. Body gets afraid of that larger interval because now we're going to the high point. Brain goes, uh-oh, and you just pull back a little bit. But you actually get there by the you. You just get there a little late. So which tells us that you can't, your body knows how to do it, but your brain just has to decide, I'm gonna, you know what, here's a good one for you. Permission to overshoot, Kaylee. Permission to overshoot. Try that.
I will think
Yeah, it's so close, girl. It's like if I could get my hands on you for like a good studio class, we'd get it. But I know you understand the feeling though now because you did it on Okay? And so now it's just go ahead.
Can I say, I think the problem I have is, so, practice a lot about diction. I think it's not even the pitch change, it's the changing of the words, because like I have to move my mouth and my jaw, and so then automatically I think my sail moves when I'm like changing words
That's a
to
very
be
good
able to
observation.
enunciate.
That's a good observation. So let's pick one pitch to siren on. Okay. So we're going to do it around this pitch because this is sort of around where we are. And I want you to feel, you're going to take your hand and I want you to tap the top. You're going to tap the top of the bottom of your top teeth, like from under it. Uh-huh. And I just want you to go, ah! Good. So you feel that shape. Now take your hand away. And I want you to do the ah again. And I want you to see if you can notice an internal shape or sensation that happens when you do that. Ah! What do you
I
notice?
felt it. I felt it lift when I felt it lift.
Good. So now all the consonants and all the vowels live from here up. I will think of you. These things can be moving, but the energy of the sound Remember, energetic sound direction is being directed that way. I will think of you. Go for it. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Kind
yeah,
of.
yeah. No, that was better. That was better. The sound cut out a little bit, but what I could see is that you kept your sail,
Okay.
even though the consonants were changing. Can you describe that feeling that even though the consonants and vowels are changing, the sail and the energy is still this way?
Well, it helped when you said think of it like think of everything going up and
Right.
like think of and then so I think just staying smiling
Yeah.
and then realizing okay, my lower jaw can move, but my upper jaw cannot move. Shouldn't
Yeah,
move.
yeah, this doesn't have to move this at all. They're two different things
Yeah.
when we train them to be two different things, right? So this is great. Keep working on this. Okay, give Kylie a round of applause. So I want to bring Annie on to give a little mojo. So Adam, I saw your hand next. If you want to come on camera.
I'm
So
on camera.
there you go. Okay. So, anything particular you're noticing as you're playing with these ideas?
Um, I don't know. What was it that I've noticed?
Yeah, just asking you if you're noticing anything as you're practicing these ideas.
It's it's a way to exercise um high note and you do siren and it's a great way to help expand your vocal range.
Cool. So, do you have a little song, just a couple bars of something, and then Annie can help?
Yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna audition for American Got Talent, the virtual audition, happening tomorrow on I think Zoom, and I'm gonna try Butterflies and Hurricane by Muse.
Okay. So, in the interest of time, let's just do a short section, okay?
Okay, I'll do the high note part. Okay. Change everything you are and everything you are. Your number has been called. How was it?
Okay.
Okay, great. Good starting place. Okay, so first off, I would love if it's possible. It looks like you're sitting down. Do you think you could stand up?
Sure, sure.
Okay, great. So right now, there's a very dominant energy of needing to get the sound right out, right? Like Arden was talking about, it's not your job to get the sound out. It's your job to bring the sound to you. And right now, it's very exploding outward. So, could you play with the idea of bringing the sound to you, drinking the sound in, and it may feel and sound very different when you bring it to you as opposed to, force it out. But let's just see what happens when you bring that idea to you. Okay?
Okay, so more
Yeah,
on
so
to me. Okay.
yeah,
Sh-
so take
mhm,
a second,
mhm.
feel your feet against the floor,
Okay.
find your breath.
Mhm.
Take your time.
Okay, sure. I'll give it a try. Change everything you are and everything you are. Your number has been called.
Okay, so straight off the bat, energetically, that's a much better choice because what came out first kind of came at me so hard that it kind of put me on edge a little bit. And this time, now that you're bringing the sound to you, I, as the audience member, have more trust in you and feel much more calm. However, there's more that we can do. When I'm watching you, that was a really great adjustment. So, very good job. When I'm watching you, I see you in your brain, I see you in your mind, I see your eyes squishing, but I don't see your cheeks and I don't see these muscles that are riding up towards your brain. So why don't we? Mostly it's around the same pitch, right? So can you find a feeling of your ears, like your grandma took your ears and was pulling your ears apart, like you've been like naughty or something? Can you find that feeling that your ears might spread apart?
What would be an example of that? I wonder, like,
So for example, when I breathe into that smile, can you like breathe into your favorite smell?
I,
Yeah, I see your breath. Like it looks like your breath's going right up into your brain. Exactly.
okay.
That's the feeling that we're not really getting. So what I want you to do, yeah, we're really up there for a guy. Yeah, I can see why. So, I'm gonna invite you to siren on this pitch. So no feeling of singing aloud. I want you to breathe in just like you just did. That was
Mm-hmm.
great. And you're gonna siren. So feeling of stretchy pitch talking rather than singing. Change. Can you
Okay.
siren it?
Sure. Change.
Wow, that's a very different sound. And that sound had a lot more resonance to it, a lot more texture to it. And we like that. So can you siren the first full line into that brain space like you did?
All right. Change everything you are. That's the
Okay, that
first
was
line.
really good. And I'm going to invite you energetically to come back to this feeling as opposed to this feeling. And you know what the thing is? Do you feel like you're working hard right now?
I feel it's interesting. This song, I in the past I couldn't even finish this song because it's
Mhm.
the high note is so long sustaining. I get too tired before I finish. But I think I gotten better since then. But I still, still working on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to invite you to, because I feel like you're working a little too hard right now. I feel like there's a lot more ease that's available to you. So,
Can
I'm
I
going to
pop
make
in
sure.
here? Because
Yeah,
I'm
of
getting,
course,
I'm
please.
so everything that Annie's saying, absolutely yes. But the thing I think that will help you bring a little more ease is I still see cha instead of I want. Can you imagine you're a vampire and you feel your fangs change? Can you try that?
Okay, change.
That.
Okay, just
That.
wider. That's like wider mouth. Yeah, that you can see the
Yeah.
teeth.
Yeah, it has width and it has height and it has depth. Okay? So, what are the first few words of that line? Change. What's the
Change
next?
everything you are.
Okay, so let's do those three words. Change everything you are as a vampire.
Okay, change everything you are.
Good.
I
Okay.
think I
So
did a little bit too high. But
but
yeah.
no, no, but what was good is that you have a lot more freedom here because you guys, his sail is now lifted. What was happening before is that he was smelling the brownies and he would start, and the minute he would start, this would fall right down. And so now he's smelling the brownies, he remembers his vampire, and it stays up. And guys, when it stays up, there's no block here anymore. When this is down, it feels heavy. And then the rest of the body goes, well, shit, how am I going to get this air past all this heavy block going on? And so then it pushes, and now he's in the push, the force, everything that Annie was talking about that felt uncomfortable for the listener. Okay. So when you get this out of the way, now it's open for that implode feeling. So if I said to you, like more tone, less air. So you're going to be in your vampire, more tone, less air. What would you do? Do that experiment.
Yeah, so that kind of reminds me of a tissue challenge. You want to have better breast support, so you don't like push out as as little air as possible. You can test it by
Okay.
having tissue and just
Yeah.
make sure it's
The
blowing out.
reason though, the reason that I don't like that is that causes singers to hold back on their air. And we don't want to do that. We want to move through, okay? So
Okay.
don't worry about the tissue. I just want you to try an experiment as the vampire.
Okay.
More tone, less air. More
Okay.
tone, less air.
Okay. Change everything you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you feel you started to drop it and then you looked at me and you saw me going like this and you felt it, right? But
I was briefly closing my eyes. So
yeah,
much.
that's okay. That's okay. But this is the start, Adam, of a much healthier, better sound for you because it's not as forced, it's not as pushed. It's going to feel better. And for us as the listener, now it starts to sound like singing instead of shouting. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
agreed. Completely
Good
agreed.
work. Good work. Good work. Okay. We might have time to come back and do a little more after, but I see, and by the way, thank you to Coach Annie for weighing
Thank you so
in.
much, by the
That
You're
way.
was
welcome.
screen. Um, Ash, just want to make sure you hear me. Um,
Sorry, my
Ash,
internet. I did not.
oh, that's okay. I was just saying, Annie, you can put me back on the spotlight screen.
Understood. Gotcha.
Thank you. Um, because we're done with the split screen. Okay, so homework for tonight. Practicing your opposition with your sirens. Use the Mamo Moo MP3 you have from yesterday to practice those. Siren first, then bring your siren into the Mamo Moo. And if you want to do this on your rep, siren your rep and then bring it into the words on your rep, just like we were doing, like I was doing with Kaylee and like we were doing with Adam, okay? There is a thought exercise tonight to prepare for tomorrow's session, which is all about understanding why you sing the way you do. It's super clarifying. Don't skip it. Again, if you've attended one of our prior workshops and you might have done this before, you have more awareness now. Go deeper this time. Approach the technique exercise and the thought exercise with a new intention from the awareness that you have now. And if you're watching the replay, the homework link to the thought exercise and the MP3s, it's in your Masterclass workbook under day 3. Okay, now let's meet our special guest. So I have invited a very special singer here to talk to you today because she really, really knows what it's like to be held back by a voice that she doesn't trust. And she has a lot of gold to share about what has allowed her to have amazing, amazing breakthroughs to free her voice and her mindset to claim a voice that she always had, that she always knew that was in her, but she was never able to consistently access. Do any of you feel that way? Put in the chat if you feel like, I know this voice is in me. It's just not what happens all the time. Yeah, I totally see you guys relating. And so I absolutely love working with her. She is an intensive program grad who has been a successful Broadway actress who is a triple threat. She's a singer, dancer, actress, as well as a choreographer and a director. And not that long ago, she was literally sitting in the same place that you were right now, struggling with so many of the same issues that we've been coaching on the last few days. And since working our method, she's gone from feeling like her voice was really the weak link in her performing career and holding her back from the next level of shows and roles that she really wanted to going to accessing consistency and reliability in her voice that's given her a newfound confidence to go after this new chapter of success in her career. So I've invited her today to share her experience with you, the things that have moved the needle for her the most in her skill set, in her mindset, in hopes that you can pull out a nugget of gold that you can use to completely change the outcomes of your singing journey like she has in hers. So please welcome Leslie Stevens. Welcome, Leslie. Hello, hello.
Oh gosh, okay. A lot to live up to there.
Oh, no, no problem. So excited for you to be here. I would love if you could just start by sharing with everyone what was going on with your voice and your singing before working in the intensive program. Like, how were you feeling? What was going on?
Well, I can tell you that I would have this pattern that would repeat, where either I'd get an opportunity to work on something and I'd get a glimpse of a better coordination. It's like, yes, I know this, an encouraging moment, and I'd find a new teacher and I'd start. And we'd work through these things and have a kind of beginner mind for a while, and I'd run into these same kind of blocks. And then I'd eventually drop that and then struggle, go back to try to find some organic feelings of my own, and then get another recommendation. And anyway, I rinsed and repeated this many times. And it's not that there weren't some small ideas or things I would take with me, but I still didn't understand why my voice was so inconsistent. It made me feel crazy. Where
Any of you relate to that, by the way, where you're just like, am I crazy? Like,
so I would get a chance to have a good audition and then book a role and then have it go extremely well and then get be really connected and be able to bring in the character and the stuff that feels so satisfying. And I guess here's the clearest story that I can make, which sort of encapsulates the pattern. So I went to an audition out of the blue for a production of Sweet Charity. And when they do that show, they typically have someone in mind for the lead and to choose to do it because it requires so much and that person is on stage so much. And what I didn't know is this production, their person they had planned on actually had gotten pregnant and was going to have a child, which is great. And she was very happy. But so they actually were looking and they didn't say that. So I went to an ensemble audition and I danced all this stuff, which is my background, like my first language. And then they had me read all this stuff, and then they were like, an actor? That can't be. Wait a minute. And then they had me sing some stuff, and instead of just tossing me out when it seemed a little uneven, he said, okay, no, do it again. But, he worked with me in the audition, and I ended up getting to do that role, and it was that. Like a mind. I didn't tell him that I had never sung a solo I had never sung a vocal solo. I had been on Broadway as an actor and a dancer. I just didn't tell him. But I was able to make this work through the character. Now I understand why, because it was creating this forward bounce placement up here, not here. But I didn't understand why it was working, and it was working, and it was thrilling, and everything I knew I could incorporate. And then I started to get calls for auditions in New York for other things. I had been there before, and I could not recreate any kind of consistency in the room, and I didn't know why. I knew that experience was real because people had seen the show. I had even seen video of it. I knew that actually happened, and yet out of context somewhere else, I couldn't recreate what they had heard about, and that's why they invited me, and that's what made me feel like I was insane. Or just practice more, or try harder, which was not it. was not it. So when I found Arden, and I think I was pretty crusty with you on the phone when we spoke initially.
well, you were like, I've done everything. I know everyone. I've tried everything. I don't think you can help me. In fact, I think you actually told me, I don't think you can help me.
Yeah, I was like, but really underneath that is like heartbreak, because I know this set of limitations isn't my sound. I know it isn't. I just felt so trapped by it and so confused.
Well, and also, like, this is your livelihood. You are a professional actress, singer, dancer, triple threat. What, if you don't mind sharing with everybody, what was going through your mind at the time in terms of your fears? Like, if I can't get on the other side of this.
Well, there's hardly anything I can be hired for, because if I can't, as I'm aging, where I fit in the storytelling world, the groups of characters that are going to tell the story all together, they are increasingly more stand and sing ladies. Because usually the chicks over 50 aren't going to haul off and do a killer dance break. I mean, maybe here and there, or maybe in a comedic sense, because they traditionally don't think older people can be physical. But that's a different conversation. But I see like a polar bear, like the glacier's getting smaller and smaller. Like what I could actually possibly do is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Because if I can't do those other things, and then I'd have like a cabaret evening where I do one number and it would go so well, and they go like, oh, why aren't you doing all these things? And underneath it though, I know, yeah, but these issues aren't solved, so I'm going to run into that same, but maybe not. Maybe I'll have one of those good days. And so it was maddening. And so what I guess I don't know, how can I effectively pivot or to frame effectively some of the shifts or that have
Well,
happened?
yeah, so we can just talk about that because obviously, like you had so much other training in the past. So what was it about training this way in the way, 360 holistically that was so significant for you in terms of how it got you to those shifts?
Well, I think it's the not only your personal willingness, but the way you've structured the program so that the fundamental coordinations that are built on your ability to feel things, you slow the roll enough and you're going to really spend time on those. So that has allowed me to recognize where these like distortions or where these like holes or like unplugged parts of my awareness are.
Yeah. So let's
And
zoom
yeah,
out for a second though.
yeah.
So like what have been your biggest wins, your biggest shifts first, if you could just share what some of those have been.
Um, First is that I'm not going to get out of dealing with my mindset and get a result. Like you're not going to be able to have a good cry and then get around it. It's like no. Um, Being recognizing that facing the feelings that hold my tongue in a place where only a few months ago I couldn't feel my tongue at all back there. I couldn't feel it. So they say, oh, make sure your tongue is at your molars. I go, it might be. I don't know. If I bite myself, maybe I get. But the sensation started to appear there, connected with me allowing myself to feel, sit with, it's not wallowing in sadness or anything, but it's sitting with where I am in my body that was holding things so,
It was self-protective.
yeah, a lot of armoring and stuff like that it's like if you were trying to find a door in a room and you'd go down the wall going, nope, it's just a wall, nope, just a wall. I couldn't recognize that there were actual, like, oh, yes, no, oh, that can shift. So here's one of the huge ones is that when I breathe, and I've been doing all this other somatic work, and your lungs, can expand and your ribs can swing open and that all feels great. I know we don't really feel our diaphragm because we don't really have nerves there, but I had conflated that the feeling of my lungs moving out in that shape is the same thing as the container of support. So I was essentially trying to breathe and then contract my lungs as if they are core muscles. I'm like, and it's like, no wonder I always felt like I was choking. I mean, I felt like I was being waterboarded while I'm singing on stage. I was doing Roxy in Chicago somewhere, and it's like nobody knows that I'm like choking. And I
But
knew this wasn't
the
right.
benefit though of slowing your roll, like you were
Yeah.
saying. Like
So slow down enough, and it was in class with you that because you're offering the clarity of the isolations and repeating those. And I remember being frustrated in a lesson, like, oh, I have to go back to the beginning, chutes and ladders. I'm a big loser. But from what we've been doing, I'm like, no, because if there's still squirrels in my tree or whatever bugs in my program at a fundamental, this is exactly where I'm not going to be afraid to go.
But that is mindset, which circles back to what you said, which is nothing I do is going to work if I'm not addressing what's here. And guess what? Like you guys heard what she said. Shit, I got to go back to square one, chutes and ladders, and if we don't address that, then she's going to resist without even realizing it. And so this is how all these things play together, right? And so I'm curious, like, what has this allowed you to do now?
So the other thing is I couldn't ever feel my pelvic floor and I couldn't feel any breath. So I couldn't feel breath support. So I would do all kinds of muscular gymnastics to try to make things happen, and also created all kinds of weird things that don't work. Now that can actually feel support. It's amazing because I couldn't ever feel anything. And so that I can feel support, what's changing is it's that funny thing, like what I always want to sound like is by doing mindset and staying calm and connected with my body, not jumping out of my body to hope that I will be approved of somehow so I can do the storytelling. Like, it's like, no, stay in your own boat. Stay here in your own boat to feel this. And the resonance, the thing that I was trying to grab
Mate.
after
Yeah.
falsely is actually coming out. And then that makes me go, no, I'm not crazy. I always knew that was in there. I was just doing some sort of desperate game to chase it, and I would kill myself working hard, but I was in a combination of mindset and misunderstandings of physical function that kept me in this really awful revolving door of confusion. And the other teachers weren't telling me things that were wrong, but they were so general that it couldn't address, there was no way to recognize where I was having the disconnect.
Right. And
And
what's
so,
interesting is that then you didn't have trust. So
no.
what you're talking about, if I can mirror back Leslie's language for all of you, is that she she now trusts that she can get the sound without the manipulation, the forcing, the cycles, the revolving door, all the stuff is been broken down so that she understands how to trust her body, and that she doesn't have to do all that other stuff. And the sound that she always wanted, which was what she was manipulating and forcing towards in the first place,
Right.
was actually there all along, but she didn't trust it. So she thought she had to do all these things to get it, and she didn't understand, and nobody explained, right? And so coming back to this trust now, so how has this changed? Because you've just had this massive breakthrough. And so what are you excited about moving into now in this next phase of your career and your work? With this new
Well,
confidence and this new consistency.
well, what's like sort of surprisingly, oh, there was an audition that was coming up, and I sort of know them from before and whatever. And anyway, it's the power to say no, first off. Like, so I'm not chasing any and everything. I'm like, no, it's really important for me to build what I want to be able to present, and the sound to be serving the character, because that's what I really love most is I'm never going to think of myself probably as, standing on the balcony making some, flowing sound. I really love how characters sound, expressing themselves through music. And so I guess what I'm really looking forward to is that it's like I have tools that I actually can make something with, as opposed to a lot of energy of trying to highlight the shiny parts and hide the broken ones, or the ones that I didn't understand. Or what I said is I'm not going to polish an old turd from 2020 and say, hey, it's like, no, that's a 2020 turd that I tried to polish. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So forgive my
but given this, I mean,
yeah.
I know that it wasn't easy for you to dive in. We talked for maybe it was 6 months, maybe, before you actually dove in. Do you remember? We like dallied,
Well, because
and
I
so
also didn't want to get my heart, like I didn't want to get my heart broken or something, and to make that big of an investment. And it was something, well, anyway, without getting too personal, but it was right in the wake of my father's passing. And my dad always could naturally kind of sing, in a piano bar kind of. And he had looked at me several times and go, I just don't know what's wrong with you. It's not that hard. Like, I mean, it's like, he wasn't trying to be mean, but he had a kind
see,
of
now
ease.
you know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. It doesn't have to be that hard.
A kind of ease about it. Of course, he was always doing it, 3 drinks in at a piano bar. He was never auditioning or trying to, he wasn't, he had a different path. But it was that I decided to make that, it was a really significant investment in myself. and that was the shift because I didn't go to college because I have a high school equivalency and I danced right away like in a very I was in a Broadway show at 17. I was in the marketplace immediately without a lot of training or without, so I never, I was always trying to fill in the blanks constantly, but I never gave myself an investment and said, no, you actually are worth having consistent time. It doesn't mean, oh, like 20 minutes and then you got to get it or get on. But it's like, no, I'm actually worth the time to really understand this. And that's also another big mindset jump to say, yes, you are worth the real time to learn my own body without it being you're on in 10 minutes, which was always me like taking acting class in New York, you know.
Right. Right. No, you are, I am worth investing in. I am worth investing my time in. I am worth investing my money in. You guys, there's a difference between cost and invest, right? Like
Yeah.
a cup of coffee costs $5. You drink it, you pee it out. You don't get any return on that, versus like invest in this case, what Leslie's talking about, investing in her business. This is the business of her performing career, investing in her body, investing in her understanding. Like that's going to pay dividends, and it already has, like time and time and time again. And so if you were talking to somebody here who is thinking maybe that they would want to train with our team or something, but maybe they're worried about the time or the investment or working online instead of in person, like what advice would you give them having been through it?
Um, well, I would, well, I mean, I can't speak for other people's experience or where they are, but the amount of material that is laid out for you to walk through with meditations and with like journaling and stuff, but it's very specific to help an individual spend the time with the parts that are, to me, I say offline or unavailable or that you can't find or for my case, absolutely avoid. you know, um, that it's the program is that this is what is so different is the whole thing is built to have concrete footwork to do, like coordinations to work on and really specific imagery, but the mindset, that's why I said that first, you're not going to get out of. And that is often where the real sticky wickets, the things that seem unsolvable, the things that are what's that thing about you can't solve a problem on the same level of thinking that created it. That's a bad paraphrase of.
Yeah, like but you can't think your way out of a thinking problem is another version of that. You
And
know.
so, I mean, I teach dancing and I teach fundamentals and I love that. And but in that there has to be real granular specifics and they're different for different people, which is what you also provide in different kinds of images for different people, and what the coaching provides, because there's different kinds of conversations for different people. But I found if it wasn't that specific information physically, and if it wasn't that specific of a layout emotionally with them talking to each other, I think I would have been more likely to skirt the scariest parts or to try to make the physical stuff happen, which is
Right.
my habit.
Right. And basically, guys, what Leslie's saying is that we didn't let her get away with shit. But in truth, have the experiences that she needed to have to link mind and body so that she's able to sing things now that I mean, I feel like in our last one-on-one you were like, I don't think I could have sung this. Like you were when we were doing the Music Man stuff and you were like, and so I just wanted her to come here and kind of share her experience going through the processes with these tools that you're getting a taste of this week, so that you understand that you're not alone if you're feeling the stickies in it, and that you understand how these things work together, and that it is 150% possible to shift like even the most stuck habits, stuck energy, things that you think that you will never sing, you can sing. And Leslie is living proof. So
I'm so grateful, and it's, I guess that's what I would offer, is that this is an opportunity to actually get inside of it. It's more about, it's not it's not a vending machine, and so much of it is set up in our society this way. I'm going to give you this and then I get this. I have I put in my $20 and I get this. You're going to give me this thing. It's a very well thought out and very patient structure, but it's not one size fits all, but it's an opportunity to really get to where neurological and emotional and physiological coordination, and that's also where your spiritual life story, all of those things overlap. And if you love singing, it's because, I mean, I'm guessing that you have had an experience of feeling connected in that way. And this process, which I'm still in, but has allowed me to see that I was not crazy, and that the feeling of connectedness that I so desired more than anything was possible, but it required slowing all these patterns till I could recognize what was happening and having really clear tools to do something else. So that's why I'm so grateful.
Oh, you're so welcome. You guys, please give Leslie a big round of applause. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. I will see you in class.
Yes, okay.
And
Thank you.
you guys, I just really want you to see what's possible, okay? I mean, you've already gotten so many ahas and results from just these first 3 days. And so let me show you how I can help you bring this full circle, right? So you now have some game-changing tools and awarenesses to go out and be a whole lot more successful on your own. And if you are comfortable with the trial and error of going through the rest of the process of embodying and implementing and figuring out all, as you go with all these new tools and lots of trying different things until you get the results that you want. If you're comfortable with that, then I want to encourage you to get out there as soon as possible with all of these tools. Or if you're the kind of person that, like I'm this kind of person, that likes to follow a blueprint, like an exact blueprint, who wants an A to Z roadmap for maximizing your impact and your potential, to have expert eyes and ears on you, to tell you what to do, how to do it, make sure you're doing it right, that's going to get you predictable and repeatable results in your singing, then the intensive training program that Leslie's talking about is probably right for you. And so that's the training program that she trained in. And the intensive, what it is it's like an all-in-one holistic training approach that you've gotten a taste of just so far this week. A holistic approach to your journey that addresses your technique, your mindset, your artistry all together, so that you know how to access 100% of your potential, to unleash the full power of your voice and your talent, stand out from the competition, trust your journey to land those elite opportunities and keep them coming. And so through our time together, if you work in the intensive training program, you'll have a higher level of reliability and consistency in your technique that you can trust, that shows up no matter what, where your body is working for you, not against you, singing in a way that doesn't just sound good, but that feels good, like what Leslie was just talking about. It's freedom and stamina instead of tension, strain, fatigue. And then you're getting constantly better results from your auditions, from your performances or recordings. Like, no more putting in all this time and effort and work and money and not seeing the kind of results that you want. And so what we are aiming for in this holistic approach is giving you that foundation to finally own your sound, own your voice. Tap into that confidence in your unique voice, what you have that nobody else does. It's what I call your special sauce that sets you apart from every other singer, which, by the way, is actually what we're going to be training on later on this week. So don't miss that. The idea of like finding your sound, right? But can you imagine, guys, being able to stand out from that competition? And so you're not the bridesmaid anymore, right? It's like no more longing, frustration, anxiety, sadness of watching someone else up there on stage getting the big opportunities that you want, while you're still stuck at the same level that you've been at for ages. But instead, like, guys, seriously, imagine it's your curtain call. Imagine walking into the stage door and seeing your name on the dressing room door. Your name. Imagine walking into the grocery store and hearing your song playing on the radio. It has happened to me. For those of you who live in Los Angeles, Ralph's on La Brea between Wilshire and Fairfax. In Ralph's, pushing my daughter, she was like 3 months old, in the cart, and my song comes on in the Ralph's. But you better believe I took out my phone and I was like FaceTiming my mom. Listen! Imagine walking into like the biggest stage of your life. Amy DeLuca, this is for you. Looking out onto the crowd and thinking, I did this. Amy did that this past fall. Okay? You guys know Amy. She's our workshop concierge. Because let's think about what it's really costing you not to own the big life that you really want with your voice and your talent, and not being able to do the thing that would get you there right now. It's costing you. It's costing you time. That is the one non-renewable resource that we are all given. How much time have you lost on this hamster wheel that you've been on? 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, not getting the breakthroughs of where you want to be. Do you want to lose another year? Another 5 years? God forbid, another decade doing the same things and getting the same results that are keeping you stuck? And then all of a sudden, you're like at the end of your life looking back with sadness and regret, wondering, what if? Wondering, who would I have been? And what could I have done if I'd really fought for my gifts in a different way? Guys, it's costing you opportunities, it's costing you income, it's costing you impact, and while those things are frustrating, to me, they're not the real cost. What is it really costing you not to own your voice? Type it into the chat. Type it into the chat, guys. Yes, this is about your singing, but no, it's not. I am legit asking, what is it really costing you to have a gift and consistently feel like you're hitting a ceiling, like you're coming up short, when all you want to do is live it to its fullest potential? What is it really costing you to continue to have to accept a B+ music career when you know you have an A+ talent? What is it costing you not to own your voice? And I'm looking at what you're putting in the chat. It's costing me dreams. It's costing me joy. It's costing me peace of mind. It's costing me my happiness. You guys, these are way more expensive costs than the time and the money and the impact that you're not getting. So that's what we're doing here, guys, is giving you the ability to fully step into the gifts that you were given and do what you were put on this planet to do. And so to do that, there's really 4 key pillars that are involved over a 4-month intensive training program. So the first pillar is Technique Accelerator, where we have to make sure there's no gaps in your technique and rapidly help you to nail down technical mastery. So that's comprised of 2 elements, which we've worked on yesterday and today: breath support and resonance. And in the intensive program, we deep dive into both of these, where we're teaching you game-changing, high-level technique that ensures consistency, reliability, quickly eliminates tension, strain, bad habits. This is the bedrock of your ability to tap into the fullest potential of your voice and deliver that when it counts every single time with full confidence, full impact, no matter what, so you can go out there and start hitting your career goals. The second pillar is unleashing your unique artistry. Most vocal coaches, they only teach technique, which is why their clients are not out there breaking through. And so we're going to take you through a powerful process to immediately tap into your unique energy, your unique sound, and show you how to unleash that for maximum impact and performance, so you're the one they remember. You're the one that they want to hire. You're the one whose records they want to listen to over and over and over again. And then the third pillar, to speak to what Leslie was just talking about, is mindset, a blueprint for mastering your mindset. This is another piece that most traditional vocal training does wrong, or not even wrong, guys. They don't do it at all, and that's mindset. Most coaches, they train you from the neck down, and they leave out the one part of your body that can and will sabotage everything else if it's not trained, and that's your mind. Because, say it with me, your body cannot do what your brain is sabotaging. And so you cannot do the first 2 pieces of this. You cannot build technical mastery. You cannot unleash your unique artistry if you're being sabotaged by what's going on in your head, both on stage and off, that you don't even realize. And so in this blueprint, we teach you advanced professional mindset strategies so you will perform to your potential 100% of the time, because we have taught you how to get out of your own way. And then finally, the last piece of this is support, world-class support. Because I see so many of you. I know how passionate you are. I know how much you care. And I know that if you could have fixed these things on your own by now, you would have. And this is honestly where most types of training programs drop the ball. They either hand you a bunch of information and they leave you on your own to figure out how to do it, or if they do give you support, it's minimal and you waste a lot of time between lessons. Number one, not having anyone to check in with to see if what you're practicing is correct, or are you just practicing in the old bad habits and continuing to reinforce those without even realizing it? And number two, there's nobody mirroring back to you all the ways that you're getting in your own way. And so we're the opposite of that. We're with you every step of the way, making sure that you're implementing these strategies correctly and in a timely manner. And so we're building your transformation right alongside you. And so here's how we deliver that. You get weekly technique training modules, you get weekly mind and body integration modules, individual weekly coaching in our group studio classes twice a week, weekly group mindset call. We do one-on-one accountability mentoring with your own dedicated mindset coach who works one-on-one with you. This, guys, this is a community and a safe space to go beyond your comfort zone in a really compassionate and really supportive community. And it acts almost like an artistic incubator to be amongst like-minded singers where you can learn and take action and grow and expand and achieve your creative goals. So normally the tuition for our program is $9K. But I'm giving you guys some huge bonuses during the workshop week for those of you who do want to train with us. So first, I'm taking $2,000 off the tuition from now until this coming Monday at the end of the workshop as a bonus discount for everyone in the workshop. So it's just $7K until midnight Monday night. That's the first big bonus. It's a huge tuition discount. And then we have 3 more bonuses. So for those who enroll before the end of the workshop by Monday night, we also do a critique of one of your audition self-tapes. So for those of you who are doing opera auditions, musical theater auditions, you have first round self-tapes, full critique on one of your audition self-tapes to help you move the needle on that. Also, for those of you who have an artist website or an EPK, we will do a full audit of your artist website or EPK to make sure that you're not accidentally having things on there or missing things on there that are costing you bookings, gigs, auditions, things that you don't realize. And then also, the first 3 singers who choose our pay in full option get 2 bonus private one-on-one coaching sessions with me that they can use anytime throughout their program. Now look, you're in studio class with me several times a week working one-on-one, but this is just an added extra. So that's some extras that I want to give to you as a thank you and a bonus for investing your time in yourself and your journey throughout this week. Through Monday when we're finished up. We have a lot of flexible payment options. We do have payment plans. I will share my screen and share those with you now just so you have an idea. Here we go. So we have 3 flexible payment plans. So you can pay monthly over the 4 months, which would be $18.97 a month. Or for those who want the best value, we could do one payment of $7K, or we do PayPal financing. And so that's, kind of like financing if you were going to lease a car or something, based on the rate and term that you qualify for. It could literally be as low as $340 a month, depending on that rate and term. And so these are, options that are pretty standard that we give you guys to be able to come into the program. If you know you want in, you can use a link that Ashley's going to put in the chat to take care of your enrollment. You can pick your start date. You could literally be in class with us this coming week if you want. If you have some questions, you'd like to book a short call with me, like a discovery call, to just really talk about your situation, find out if the intensive training program is really a good fit for you, if it's going to meet your specific goals, your specific singing journey, then you can book a short call with me. Just to know, this is not a coaching call. Okay, so we're not gonna do vocal technique or whatever, it's just a phone call. It's a short call to see if what I've just gone over is gonna be a good fit for you to move you forward to meet your goals. So you can just hop on a quick call with me so that I can answer any questions that you might have. So the link to book that call, Ashley's gonna she just put in the chat as well. And so if you guys have everything you need from today, we're going to be integrating all of these tools and doing some more work with you in the way that we work with singers in our intensive training program tomorrow, where we're going to do what we call go from process to performance. Okay, so tomorrow, do not miss this. I'm going to show you how to fast track process to performance by teaching you how to get out of your own way to really bring it like you've never brought it before. So that's what's really necessary for the kind of impact that it takes to make it at an elite level. So that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow, process to performance. Reminder, do your homework tonight. Work on your sirens. Use the Mamo Moo MP3 from yesterday to practice embodying your opposition. Do the next thought exercise. It will prepare you and give you insights so that you're ready for the process to performance work we're going to do tomorrow. Again, if you want to learn more details about the intensive training program or you want to enroll, here's that link again. Ashley will put it in the chat. Has detailed information about everything that we talked about and more. There's singers you can read about their experience. Do your due diligence. Again, if you have questions, your next step is to book that short discovery call with me. And if training with us is where you want to be, guys, get in while we've got the $2,000 workshop discount and we have all these bonuses before the workshop wraps on Monday. Okay, everybody, see you tomorrow in your session for some more big breakthroughs. Sending so much love, honoring you thank you, Willie, honoring you all for taking the time to show up to your voice and your dreams and the things that matter by getting some new information. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.